Welcome back to Me Being Cheap. Today we're going to make clarified butter, also called ghee or shelf-stable butter. And it's pretty easy to make. You only need a couple things. So you need your butter, that would be unsalted. You need a stock pot, a wooden utensil. You need your canning jar lids, hot, rings and bands. Your canning jars scrubbed and in a 220-degree oven for at least 20 minutes to help sterilize. You need a colander or strainer with cheesecloth and then something to catch the butter. I'm using a glass measuring cup. Of course, that's not going to be big enough to catch all of this. But as far as the butter, Kroger affiliate, which is Dillon's for me, was having a sale where you could get it's a digital coupon. You could use it 5 times and you could get the butter for $1.99. $1.99 or less is my buy price, and you can just pitch these in the freezer, and that's probably the easiest way to save your butter. However, you will eventually run out of freezer space, and this can take on the taste of the freezer after a while. And if you're using a defrosting freezer or auto defrosting freezer, it can get a little freezer burnt rather quickly. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do is unwrap your butter, and I like to save the wax paper squares that the butter comes in, and you can actually just stash them right like this in your freezer, one of these containers. And then when you patty up your hamburger meat, it makes a nice wax paper divider, and that way you're saving money by not having to buy wax paper or freezer paper for your hamburgers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to unwrap the butter, put it in my large pot, and go ahead and start melting it. Alright, I'll check back in with you in a few. Alright, so this is 10 pounds of butter, and I'm melting it. And I just wanted to show you why this is going to save money. You might be asking, why would you go through the trouble of doing this? So not only is it shelf stable, and then you can buy it when the butter is cheap, but if you look at this ghee, like this is at Walmart, it's $9.97 for a carton. This glass jar here, it's only 13 ounces, and it's $6.48. And this one's $11.99. This jar of ghee from Amazon is Trader Joe's. It's $8.48. So essentially I'm going to have 10 16-ounce jars and probably about $20. So it's definitely worth your time, and definitely buy the butter when it's cheap. This is a way that you can preserve it for later. Alright, the butter is melted, and we are going to turn this up to about medium heat until it starts to simmer, and then we'll cut the heat back down. Alright, it is slowly boiling and it is foamy. This is the first foam. Going to want to pay attention to that. So we are actually going to turn this down to low, and I'll check back in with you in a few. This has been boiling, I'm guessing probably for about 30 minutes now. It is taking its own sweet time. However, I don't know if you can see this on the corner. These are some of the milk solids, and they will start sticking to the side, and that's fine. You can go ahead and scrape that to where they fall down into the bottom. Later, as this cooks more, those milk solids are actually going to turn a brown color. But when the butter is finally clarified, which means it's going to be clear, it's going to be a golden clear substance, we're going to strain those milk solids through the cheesecloth. This is the second wave of foam, and I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if the camera's going to pick up on it. But these bubbles tend to be a lot smaller. Now if I use this spoon, rake some of this out of the way, you can get a glimpse once underneath that butter is starting to get clear. However, it's kind of, there you go. Anyway, we're going to let it do its thing for a little bit longer. Alright, you can see how the butter is clear. However, when I give it a stir, you may be able to see some of the milk fats that are down on the bottom. Okay, we're going to continue to cook, and this has got just a little bit longer, but we're going to continue to cook, and then you'll eventually see those milk solids, which are curdling up, you'll see those start to turn a brown color. Okay, I'll check back in with you in a few. Alright, I think we're as done as it's going to get. You can see the brown sediment down on the bottom. So what we're going to do now is scoop the clarified butter through the cheesecloth and collect it in the glass measuring cup below. Then we'll grab our hot jars out of the oven, and we've got our hot lids and rings over here, and then we will cap it off. Obviously, before we cap it off, we will wipe the rims with some vinegar. Alright, I'll check back in with you in a few. Alright, this is what it looks like fresh out of the pot and through the cheesecloth, and I've already started jarring it up, so I'll check back in with you when I have them all done. Thanks for watching. Alright, we started out with 10 pounds of butter, and we ended up with 9 1/3 jars. Obviously this one right here, this will be the one that we leave up here in the kitchen and use first since it's partially filled. Again, this is shelf stable, and these jars, because we had hot jars, hot butter, and hot lids and rings, these are going to seal on their own, and this will be shelf stable. Again, reasons why you might want to make ghee or clarified butter. It is a way to preserve your butter for long-term storage. Another way you could do that is to put it in the freezer. However, you do run out of freezer space. You run the risk of your power going out, losing what's in your freezer, and butter after a while could take on the taste of the freezer or become freezer burnt. So this is a way to store your butter for longer term and make use of sales on butter. Again, my price is $2 and below per pound, and yeah, so I have this, and so the rest of it is either cooked out in steam. We have some more of the milk solids just kind of left in the pan, and then this is what is left in the cheesecloth. And this stuff, I tasted it, it's actually pretty good. It's kind of like a caramel. It's pretty good. Anyway, those are the milk solids. So after this solidifies, I'll check back in and show you what it looks like. Thanks for watching. Alright, and here's the finished project. We have about 9 1/3 jars of ghee. Quite a bit of savings and a good way to store your butter. Thanks for watching.